Hello pilots and welcome to Motion RC Live. The next release from Freewing Models is officially here. We have the 70mm F-22. So far this came out yesterday. Guys have been super happy to see this one come out. It really fills a nice little gap in here in our lineup of F-22s. So a customer with maybe not the budget to get the 90 can now get the 70 and still enjoy a lot of the same flight characteristics in the smaller package. The aircraft is very, very powerful, so that has been a lot of fun. Pretty much unlimited vertical on this thing with a 4,000 in it. Reminds me a lot of like the Mirage, if anybody's had that one. That powerful motor just pushes them around like crazy. And it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been seeing a lot of guys pre-ordering them. I've had lots of questions and things in all the Facebook groups. It's been a lot of fun. So anyway, it's here officially, and we're going to take you for a tour of the model today. As you get in, if there are any specific questions on the aircraft, Lori is checking the comment section right now, as well as James down in there. He's watching too. And we're going to try and go over as much and as thorough detail of this aircraft as we can. Now, what I have sitting on the table here is this is our 64mm F-22. This is the new 70, and this is the 90 here, just so you can see them all together. Really some good scale details on this new model. You can definitely tell this is one of our newest molds and updated features of the model, which are making it really nice. You get those quick connect wings now versus the 90 has the screw-on wings, and so does the 64. Although the 64, you really never had to take the wings off for. Most guys can fit that in the backseat of a car pretty easily. And honestly, you can fit this one in the backseat of your car pretty easily too. You can see if I pick it up here. It still has a nice size, but will easily fit in a vehicle without having to take it apart. But it is that easy to take it apart if you want to. I've been popping the wings off for transport just to save some space, and it's so nice. So anybody that's had the Zeus, this uses the same wing connectors as the Zeus. Which we'll flip them over here in just a second and check those out. But yeah, super excited to see it. Like I said, everybody getting in the chat. I see it going crazy over there. So it looks like everybody's really been enjoying it. Like I said, this one's been a really well-received model so far. Everybody's really liking it. So let me just kind of move some of these airplanes off to the side real quick, and we will start getting in to this one. Ta-da. Oh, thanks, Lori. So, you do have the included pilot figure up front. What we might do here is get a top shot going and get a little closer details. I should have cleaned the canopy off. It's got my finger smudges on it right now, but there you go. You do have the included pilot. And the canopy is smoked, but not like the 90. It's a little bit less. Let me get a rag real quick and wipe that off. Got my fingerprints all over this. There we go. It is nice and clear. It just got fingers all over it. There we go. There you go. There's a good look at the pilot figure. And the details inside of there. You can see all the rib details and things all down the aircraft too. Really nice on this model. Gives it a really good look all over it. You do have the plastic intakes up here to keep you from damaging these. Around here, you've got plastic around the canopy, plastic up here on the nose from here forward. This is a removable cone, just like in all of our other models. So if you do damage this, it's easy to change it out. Some customers also like to pop these off and stand them on the nose for storage. So that's why they do that. So there's that. Your battery hatch on the F-22 is actually right here. It actually mirrors the big F-22, and I've got it setting here so we can show you that. But the battery hatch is right here. And as you can see, I have a 4000 Admiral Pro in here right now. I have flown this on the standard 5000 Admirals also. It's a little bit more nose heavy there, but I still like the way it flies. The product video you saw yesterday was actually on that. But you can see you can get this back to about right here. If you want, you can actually set it a little further back on top of these wires, but I've just buttoned it right up against those wires and been flying it there very comfortably. You have the blue boxes right here with all your connections, so if you wanted to bypass this board and be able to do tailerons, you know, full span flaps, that kind of things, you are able to do it in this airplane very easily. There's a look at the back end. I will say the nozzles are a lot sharper than on the 64. If you see, let me grab the 64 just to give you a little comparison. Here's the 64 millimeter F-22, and you can see they're a little bit bigger on that one, whereas they were able to sharpen them up a little bit for the 70. Once again, there's the look of the 70. And like I said, I have all three planes here, so if you want comparisons of each, we'll definitely do it today. This aircraft also is coming included with Freewing's new smart servos. So these are the ones that you can reverse using your Blue Bridge, excuse me, said that wrong, your Blue Bridge programming card. You can actually plug these servos into them and reverse them internally now. So that's a new feature that's just coming out on these newer jets. So if you're interested in that, we will probably be making a video on that pretty soon. That is a new feature that's coming in these, but these are all smart servos throughout the aircraft except for the one on the nose gear door. That one is a standard servo, but everything else in it is one of those smart servos that are programmable. All right, Lori says we have a question from the audience. You can come to the front cam while we take the question.
Yeah, so they want to know what size are the wheels, are they hard or soft, and they're asking just RAS ops general.
Let me see here. Would you hand me a ruler out of this side right here? I'll measure the wheels for you guys, not a problem. Thank you. You want it in millimeters or American? Give it to you in millimeters. I think that's what everybody always likes. So the front wheel is right at 40 millimeters in diameter. The back wheels are 50 millimeters in diameter. They are a hard foam, just like all of the other jets. Give me a top shot real quick and we'll get in on these gear. There you go, guys. So you can see that, and they are suspension. You can see here. Suspension, and you do have the suspension up here, trying to figure out how to push on that. There you go, the suspension up here on the front. They are machined aluminum gear and struts. The doors are just screwed on to the side. So if you were to break one of these doors, it's 2 screws to take them off and put new ones on. There are no internal doors here. That was to save weight on the 70. But we'll put these up and down here in a minute for you, and then there's your cheater hole right here also. Fan access hatch is right here. You've got 2 screws, and these are plastic on the parts where you're going to be taking them in and out of the airplane. So there's a nice little upgrade that they've been starting to do on some of these. So when you take these out, sometimes they're kind of stubborn. You can actually put a little screwdriver under this corner and just lift up that little bit, but you don't ding up the phone trying to lift it up, with them being that plastic receiving point on both ends now, which is nice. As we move back, if you haven't checked out the assembly video yet, this is the attachment points for your vertical stabilizers or your rudders. So the 2 screws go in there on both sides to hold those in. You do have the full flying stabs also here. You have the 1 screw that goes down and catches inside of the metal rod. Like I said, definitely check out the assembly video if you're more curious about this. And then you have your ball link clevises into those smart servos right there. All right, what was the question, Lori?
How much heavier is it than the 64, and does it fly similar?
It is heavier than the 64. You can come to the front while we're talking, Lori. So I don't have the actual physical weight. I guess I could hang these up on a scale a little bit later today and measure them. But the 64 is definitely quite a bit lighter. I mean, this airplane is a lot smaller. It also only flies on a 2200 milliamp battery. This airplane is very floaty. But like I said, that's 64 millimeter. You're moving into a more of a higher performance airplane. You know, this one is probably double the speed of the 64. That's another way to think of this too. But it will also fly extremely slow. Like I said, if you want slow flight characteristics, you need to go with a lighter battery on this airplane. Yes, it will fly on the 5000s like you saw, but it flies even better on lighter packs. So a 3700, a 4000, either one of those are going to be where you're going to have that sweet spot where the airplane will come in at a high angle of attack and really float with that. And we did film those videos, guys. I just haven't got them out yet. You'll be seeing some flights on the lighter packs also coming soon. You know, we're just working through the content as fast as possible on that. So real quick, let's also check out those wing connectors real quick. Let me grab a stand. Here we go. And we'll put her up in the stand and take a look at it. I tell you what, before I put it in the stand, I'm going to plug it in, and while we're up there, we'll take a look at the landing gear too. Let me turn my radio on. On. There we go. Like I said, while we have her inverted in the stand, we can take a look at the gear. All right. Sorry about the sound of that stand right then. Let's see, get that right in the middle. Let's take a look at the gear real quick while we've got it upside down. So you have all three will go in, and then you have the front door, which will close. Let's scoot that back a little bit here. This is a plastic door set here that is molded with all the lines that kind of match all of this in here. As you see, if we flip it, you got a little bit of a delay between the front gear and the back gear because you have that door that opens and closes. So gear, door. Now when you flip it out, the mains are going to come out, the door is going to open, and then the gear is going to come out. Just like that. Cool? Now then, let's take a look at the wing connectors. You have a button here and a button here. You press and push it in. You'll see the white that's unpainted underneath when they're unclipped. Push and pull. And then, these are still a little tight because it's a new airplane. There we go. You take and slide that out, unhook your one connector, and the wing is off, just like that. While we have the wing off, there's that multi-function control board right there. As you can see that you plug it into. Same setup as the new F-16. Your carbon spar is glued into the wing and built in right out of the box. That's going to come pre-installed for you. All of your linkages come pre-installed right out of the box also. These do have the recessed nylon hinges. These are not just foam hinges. A lot of guys want to know that too. So as you can see, there's the recessed nylon hinges inside of there for your flaps and your ailerons. You do also have plastic cladding on the wing tips right here. This is plastic. You know, this is the part that's normally going to get drug on the runway during a bad landing or anything else. So that's got that added protection out there on the wingtip to keep your aircraft nice and good looking. Let me put that wing back on now. So we take it, slide in the carbon spar, line up the controller, push it until it clicks, and then work the wing back in. What I might do is put a little bit of lubrication on the spar itself. The spar is kind of tight right now, just because it's brand new. Wouldn't hurt anything, but there you go. You push it in until you hear it click, just like that. Okay, Lori says we have another question from the audience.
We have a couple of questions.
You want to come to the front?
Is, so this has a blue box, right?
Yeah, it's got the box inside of it. Let me flip it over real quick, and we'll take a look at it here. It's not a blue box like what's in the 90. It's one of our smaller ones, and I really can't show it to you right now because it's buried in wires. For anybody that's done like the Vulcan, it's similar to that. It's the smaller box. Actually, there's probably a picture of it on the product page if you want to pop it up. That'll be a lot better than me trying to show it in here. We'll try and have Lori pull it up real quick. But it basically acts as a big Y harness for the aircraft. Now, your gear sequencer is handled separately. No, it doesn't have a picture of, no, on the spare parts.
Oh, well that.
So a lot of our larger airplanes, the blue box actually has the gear sequencer built in, whereas this aircraft actually has a separate gear sequencer. It's a little controller unit that looks a lot like the Freewing tailflame afterburners control unit. She said it's not on there. If y'all are really curious about it, I'll try and maybe unplug some stuff and take a picture of it later today. And I can post that up on Facebook if you are curious about it. But it's very similar to the one that's in the Vulcan and some of the other ones, where it's acting as a big Y harness, basically. But for customers that want to do away with that, you know, and run a 10-channel receiver so you can do, you know, drooping flaps and ailerons together, do tailerons, you know, split everything up, maybe run a separate channel for your nose gear. You can do that. It's all the connections are right here. Unplug them, plug them straight into your receiver, super easy. And like I said, if you wanted to do away with the box entirely, you could. But if you do that, just know that my train of thought. If you take that out, your gear, I got it. If you take that out, your gear sequencer will still need to be plugged in with the gear to keep the sequence of the front gear door. Anyway, I just wanted to clear that up if I could. All right, yes?
And next question was, is it afterburner compatible? And no, not
So,
Freewing afterburners. Those are only for 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so a lot. There's guys been asking me that online too. On the Freewing afterburner, they're really only made for 80s and 90s currently. You know, this one could possibly have one put on in the future if we were to have an afterburner come out for those. It does have the screw holes on the back of the motor for if you are putting an afterburner on. There are other companies out there. There's some guys, Guniac. I'm trying to think of all of them right now. It's hard to keep them all straight. What is it, 5280?
52,
There's a couple other guys that have these 70 millimeter size afterburners currently, but the Freewing specific afterburners right now are only for 80s and 90s currently.
And would you suggest a gyro?
Yes. So customer asked about gyro. I will always answer yes to gyros. I love gyros. I have one in here right now. They make these military jets like the F-22 just fly better to me. The real F-22 is fly-by-wire and has a gyro in it that makes the airplane do everything it can do. And if you really want the full potential of an aircraft like this to be able to do really good high alpha, that kind of stuff, a gyro is always going to make that feel better for you. Will it fly without one? Yes, 100% it will fly without a gyro. But I personally like them. You know, it's like a car. You know, we used to have cars that didn't have powered steering or ABS or traction control or any of that stuff. And now if you don't have that, why would you drive without it? You know, it's one of those kind of things. It's super easy to put it in the airplane and just makes it that much more enjoyable to fly it. Those videos that you were watching of the aircraft were on a crosswind day, and it came in and landed so beautifully because it had a gyro in it. So yes, the Freewing gyro, the new E-52 with the I do that every time, Blue Bridge gyro system is really good too. I put that in a couple airplanes. Actually, I have one in the F-22 right now that I just programmed in there. I think I actually made the video on the big F-22, putting that airplane gyro in there. So works really well, guys. More questions?
Reverse ESC.
Yes, this aircraft does come with the reversing ESC. I didn't show it in the video because I didn't have it hooked up at the time. Sorry, a little bit of water. But yeah, the reverse ESC is just the same as it is on all the other aircraft. You have the one wire that comes attached to your servo lead for the ESC wire that goes into your receiver. The one that's labeled reverse, you just plug that into any open channel, assign it to a 2-position switch. I like to put mine on a momentary. That way, if I accidentally activate it in flight, it's as easy as letting go of that switch, and it goes back into forward flight. Once you have that assigned to that, if the motor runs backwards when you fire it up your first time, just reverse whatever channel you have the reversing ESC plugged into as far as that lead that says reverse on it, and that will make the motor run the other direction of the thing. Okay?
James is questioning your water choice.
Yeah, I know. They were on sale, so I got them.
It doesn't sound like water, but it actually
making fun of my
it's
water.
sparkling water.
Sparkling water right there on the front. Fancy. Pinky's out.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. Okay, can you do a side-by-side comparison with the 90 so we can see the differences between them?
Sure.
Let me grab the 90 for you.
Let's get the 90 out here, and we'll really get up close and try and go back and forth between the two of them here on the table. No problem. You know, the 90 is still a very impressive airplane. It is a lot bigger, but like I said, different stuff, different flavors, guys. They're all different flavors. Not everybody's got the room for the larger aircraft, so it's kind of fun. So I guess we'll start here. I'll just set the, let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Juggling airplanes right now. Let's move the big one over here in the middle. So there's the 90. And then I'll grab the 70. I just put my finger through it. There we go. So there's the 70 right there. And let's see, can I set this on here somehow and then put the 64 up here? It's trying to roll. There we go. And then there's the 64. There you go. So you can kind of start getting a size difference. And then we can actually hold them up to the camera and show you the detail differences. I will say some of the new style of making the molds, I really like the way these are coming out. So let's go to the top for a second. And let's actually compare them side by side here for you. The paint jobs are very similar on them, of course. So this is the 90 right now. You can see the battery hatch is in the same location on the 90. I'll give you a shot of the inside of it. Now, the thing on the 90 is the whole front end does come off like that. But I actually feel like the battery bay is almost the same size between the two of them, funny enough. There's that, and you can get the details of the aircraft as we look over it. The other thing that I can tell a big difference in, let me flip it over. Here's our gear doors. Now, one thing that I can see that I like on the new 70, the doors on here are smooth, as you can see. And you have those decals to mimic the wavy parts of the aircraft. I don't know of a good way to put it. It's not really a panel line on an F-22. They don't have rivets or panels lines really because it's a stealth aircraft. But if we take the new 70, I need to put the gear up so you can see it. But if you can see, there's all those molded details right in there. Is that showing? Oh yeah, it's still plugged in, isn't it? Yeah, flip the gear door real quick. Let's close them real quick so they look the same. All right. So now you can see that, where I'm talking about. That's not a decal, that's actually embossed into the foam and the plastic there. And then we'll give you the top so you can kind of compare those also. Let's give you a shot of the aft section of the aircraft. So this is the 70 once again. And now I'll pick up the 90 so you can see those differences. And there is the 90. Oh. Also give you a look at the bottom section here on the 90. And the wings. All right. If there's any more specific things you'd like to see them compared in, let me know as we go along. That's what we're here for today. All right, so what's our next question, ma'am?
So when you flew it, did you fly it on the manual throws, or did you set yours up a little bit different?
You flew it?
Flew it?
I like that.
I can't talk, I'm sorry.
So I did mine a little bit different. The manual throws feel really good. But when I actually was doing all the videos that you saw, I was actually running 100% throw on my elevator. I like a lot of elevator, whether it's the F-16 or the F-22, whatever it is. I like a lot of elevator throw on these military aircraft as far as the lifting body Delta style planes where you can do high alpha stuff. Because if you're going to be doing a lot of high alpha, you need that elevator travel. What I do is I set 30% expo on my elevator with the 100% travel. That really softens up that center part of the stick like you have a dual rate. But if you need that full travel, you can. One thing that's really funny with this, I had that 100% throw, and y'all haven't seen the video yet, but it's coming. And I'm coming by just ripping almost full throttle, and I yanked the elevator as hard as I could. This plane just stood up, and it made the coolest sound as it went through the air. But that video will be coming out at some point. And the only way you can do that kind of stuff is by having that much travel. Same thing for the ailerons. Now, I'm not running the tail as ailerons. I'm only running the outboards right now. But I did run those at 100% also with 25% expo, and they were pretty comfortable. Now, once again, that is going to be to preference. Rates are one of those things that as you fly RC aircraft, you're going to find the way you like to set up your aircraft. The manual is always a perfect place to start. They're not going to steer you wrong in there with the low and the high rates. Now, like I said, as you get more experience, you're going to feel like you want more travel, and then you can always soften that center with the expo. No matter what radio system you're using, expo is something that's built into all of them now. And that is something that you can use to have more rate, but still a softer stick. Same thing with the rudders. I run those at 100% with 25% expo. And what I like that about is when you turn on the ground, when you're taking off, that expo really softens that center spot so the plane's not getting one of these going on. It's just so you can make those slight adjustments going down the runway. Hopefully that answered that question.
So your two flight packs that you floated on are the 5,000 and 4,000.
Yes.
What was your usable throttle times on those?
Okay, so the question is the two packs that I've been flying on it. I've been flying on the Admiral 50C 5000. That's just kind of our standard, run of the mill. This is our bread and butter battery. Fly this on almost every video you see. This pack right here, the flight time on the actual video yesterday was 5.5 minutes. Now I'm setting it to 3.5 minutes of useful throttle with this battery in it. And by the time you're out of it, you're doing some coasting and that kind of stuff, that's how that flight time extends out. But yes, for your timer, useful throttle, so anytime the throttle is over 20%, the timer's clicking. I set it to 3.5 minutes with the 5,000. And with the 4,000, I've been setting it to 3 minutes of useful throttle. And I've been stretching those out to about 4.5 to 5 minutes, even with those batteries too. And it's been very comfortable. The batteries have been coming down to about 3.8 volts a cell. That's 22.3, I think, volts overall. Doing the math off my head, 22.2? Can't remember. But yeah, I mean, that's really where you want it to be. Anytime you can bring your airplane down with each individual cell being around that 3.8 volts, that's what's going to extend the life of that battery. Most of the packs that I fly still here at Motion RC are the ones that I originally bought before I came to work here. Some of these are going on 4 years old now, and you can see they're not puffed. I mean, I had it wrote on some of them. Some of these are getting old now. I mean, 5 years old. I take care of them, and I never fly them down below that point. And when I store them at that 3.8 volts cell, and that's how they've got the longevity out of them. I actually don't think I've ever lost an Admiral battery, except for the one we put into a wall.
Did it come with the decals pre-applied, or is it like the Griffin where you have
Okay. Asking about the decal options for the aircraft. The aircraft comes out of the box 100% done. There is no decals to put on. There's no paintwork, nothing. You can actually go back and watch the assembly video if you're curious of how it goes together. But yes, this airplane comes out with all decals pre-applied. There is no work to be done on the painting front on this model.
There's another question. Is this available? It's available for pre-order currently. Yeah,
currently these are available to order as a pre-order. We are expecting the shipment on October 10th of these to arrive in the U.S. and be going out to customers. Now that date can fluctuate forward or backwards a little bit depending on if we get them early or if we get them a little later. That is the estimated arrival time right now from the port to get to the warehouse and get out to you. The second we get these airplanes in, we don't even put them on the shelf. We unbox them out of the trucks and ship them out to you. And they are shipped in the order we received them. So guys should get them pretty quick once they actually show up.
Next question is, where's your CG, bro?
Where's the CG? Okay, so CG, bro. So on the bottom of the aircraft, can we have Top Shot for a second? So you have the CG marks here on the wing. This is a great jumping off point. Now, like I said, I've been slamming the batteries all the way to the back on these now as I've got more comfortable with it. So I'm a little bit behind the CG mark now when I'm flying. I usually push it back, back, 5-6 millimeters behind it. But like I said, starting off, start right here on the wing. The aircraft flies very comfortably there. Now, if you want to do high alpha, that kind of stuff, that's where you can start pushing that CG back. Be careful pushing the CG back if you don't have a gyro in the airplane, because that's how you can get the airplane tail heavy, and it's going to start getting very pitch sensitive as you get to that super neutral balance point. The reason we usually err on the side of nose heavy on these aircraft is if you're flying without a gyro, you're at a very safe and comfortable place to fly here. If you do have a gyro in, you can start to push further and further back, and the gyro will start to compensate for that pitch sensitivity and roll oscillation. And that's where that comes in. But yes, I am flying on the 4000 just like I have in here. When I get it in here, still plugged in, I forgot. I try and get it as far back in here as I can, where it's butted up against here and here. And that's where I actually put that battery. That's the 4000 and the 5000, same thing. I slam it all the way to the back. And that really feels really good on this airplane. The nice thing is, a lot of planes it's up here, whereas this one, the battery hatch is way back here. So you're getting that battery real close to that CG as far as that goes. So that's where I put it personally. But as far as CG, balance to the wings for your first flight. Those marks. You're going to be good to go. Okay, any other questions so far? I don't know what I'm hitting with the battery bat.
Not so far.
Okay. Just trying to think of anything I've missed on the aircraft right now as we've been going around it. Can't think of nothing. I didn't really show the hinges back here. As you can see, they're also got the embedded hinges in the back. You've got those smart servos in the tail also on both sides. Let's go to the front real quick while we're talking.
Sure.
So I think we're good on this right now. If y'all have more questions, we'll come back and revisit it here in a minute. I do want to go over this aircraft behind me also. We did have another release come out. So let me just set this off to the side for a minute. Like I said, if y'all have questions about the F-22, we'll come back and revisit it here in just a little bit. So we also had this release last week. There's been so many new airplanes, it's hard to keep up with them here lately. We did have the Andes glider also. Is there any questions on this aircraft? This is a 2,000 millimeter glider. And I just want to really quick go over this one also if anybody had questions. Comes with a folding prop. ESC brakes, so when you stop, it folds, helps it glide. It does have ailerons out there on the wingtips. I really like the paint job of this airplane too, super easy to see. You have a full flying stab on this glider also, and it does come with embossing right here to help you set your elevator to neutral. Anyway, really nice flying airplane. Is there any questions about this one too? Like I said, this one kind of snuck in last week, and I don't know how many of you guys had seen it. I wanted to make sure y'all knew about it. Nice battery hatch up in the front. I've been flying this one on a 2200 3S pack. Okay.
I'm sorry. How does it compare to the Shrike?
This is an actual more traditional style glider than the Shrike. Now, the Shrike flies really well. This one flies a lot slower. It is better at hitting a thermal and staying in it than the Shrike. And that's where I've kind of seen it. You've got the 2,000 millimeter wingspan also. Shrike's quite a bit shorter wingspan than this one. Like I said, this is more of a traditional style glider. The wing is pretty flat on this glider. You know, a lot of them you'll have the what do they call it? Polyhedral. It's not dihedral. I believe it's called polyhedral on a glider where this part is out here like this. On this one, it's a lot smoother and it's kind of a curve, as you can see, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, this is a great little glider. If somebody's been looking at getting one, you can set out in a lawn chair, excuse me, and fly this thing forever. I think when we did the product video, I think I flew it 30 minutes. And we were like, okay, I think we got everything. But yeah, it's got the skid here on the back to keep this from getting damaged because it is a belly launch or belly lander. It's got a plastic skid up here also to protect that with a little bump on it. You have the, wrong side, the neon green underneath to really help see this thing when you're flying. Servos are pre-installed out of the box. Super easy flying plane though. Really a good one. You've got 2 screws to take the wing off, one here at the back and one that hides underneath the canopy right here. Just machine threaded 2 millimeter screws, and you can pop these in and out to take the wing off. And then the 2 wing halves can be separated also. I did put the sticker on the middle of this. This sticker does not come pre-applied, this one sticker. Everything else does. If you put the sticker on and want to be able to separate the wings, you will need to cut this section right here in order to do that. Do you have another question, or are you laughing at somebody making jokes?
Someone just said, you lost weight, look good, man.
That's right. Hey, wait, let me push it out for you guys. Got that dad bod going on.
Jameson says hitting on less will get you in scrap.
That's right. I love our customers. Oh, you guys are awesome. Anyway, that's the Shrike glider. I just wanted to go over it real quick. If you hadn't seen it, somebody got me saying Shrike a minute ago. This is the Andes glider. There we go. Get it right here in a second. I just wanted to make sure customers knew about this one while we were talking about the F-22 and check it out for a minute. So do we have any questions on either of these 2 new releases while we're sitting here? I also have seen a bunch of customers getting their F-16s. My buddy Jerry messaged me this morning, said his successful maiden flight happened today. He's getting flights on it as we speak. He's probably watching us from the field. My plan is to get over to Jerry at some point and maybe get us some tandem flights filmed. And of course, we have Joe Nall coming up at the end of the month. Excuse me, not Joe Nall. Nall in the fall coming up at the end of the month. So that'll be fun. If any of you guys are coming out there, I'm sure I'll have the F-22 with me.
Right, I had a couple people asking if we're going to be there.
We will be. They called me this morning because I guess they didn't get my pilot registration. But we got her fixed up. So I am coming. Me, Jerry, Bob DePenta, a lot of guys you've seen in a bunch of videos. Papa's coming, Lori's coming, Skip, James. I mean, the whole crew will be out there this year. We'll have a lot of fun. So that's going to be a blast to hang out with everybody.
How does the 22 compare to the 35?
I like, personally, okay, how does the F-22 fly compared to the F-35? I personally like the F-22 a little bit better. I feel like the F-22 does a better high alpha. It feels a little lighter and nimbler. And I've always personally liked F-22s better than the F-35. Now, you know, that's looks are subjective. You know, everybody wants one plane versus another because of the way it looks. But me personally, I like the way the F-22 looks. And I really, really like the way it flies. I actually told that to Lori when we were out there filming this one. I was like, I really like this jet. You know, the last couple have really been hitting great spots for me. The F-16, the original one, was one of my favorite all-time jets. I loved that airplane. And the new F-16 came out, and I couldn't quit flying it. I mean, I think I put, the first day we were out there, I must have put 12, 13 flights on it, which, I mean, that's a lot in one day. If you've been out flying, I mean, 12 or 13 flights is a lot in one day, especially with the maiden and everything else that was going on. And every time I've had a chance, I've taken that airplane out and flown it lately. And then this one, I actually flew Thursday and just loved it. I want to take this one out again as soon as possible and fly it. I've been enjoying this airplane a lot. So like I said, the new releases lately have been a lot of fun. It's always not the easiest thing for me to fly what I want. I got to fly what I got to do for the videos a lot of the times. But, you know, when I get a chance, this one's definitely going in the car next time I go out with Papa just to have a fly day, and probably the F-16, because those are two of my favorite ones in a long time as far as their overall flight characteristics. This one right here, though, for anybody that's got it in the budget, doesn't have the 90 yet, has been thinking about getting an F-22, I highly recommend you try this airplane. It is a lot of fun to fly this one.
We haven't done a speed test on it, but are we going to?
Yeah, we could throw a GPS in it next time we're flying. I just didn't even think about doing it when we were out there last time. This thing's a pocket rocket. I'm confident in saying this thing is doing 110, 120 mile an hour when it goes by, and it can go pretty much straight vertical and never stop. But I'll get a GPS in it, and we'll get you an exact number. You know, I don't want to tell everybody it's a certain speed without confirming it. But yeah, this thing is fast. It's very fast. Anything else? I mean, it's not as fast as this beautiful Andes glider up by any means.
Oh, yeah, it was hard trying to film in that Andes.
I like the sound this thing makes. So one of my favorite thing about gliders, if you watched the video of this one, is kind of coming by kind of quickly, turning the prop off, and then as it goes by, you hear that whew, that noise, just the wind going over the wings. I always love that. Same thing with EDFs. Whenever you do, you know, I always am like, goes past. When they come by with the motor off and you just hear that wind going through the airframe, I always liked that too.
James says, let's tow the Andes with the 22.
Tow him up. Yeah, there you go. That'd be funny.
The question is the 64 schoolyard compatible?
Schoolyard compatible? I don't know what that quite means. Legally, this airplane is not under 250 grams, so it's still not. So, you know, could it be flown there? Probably, but legally, no. So, you know, that's one of those things that's a little touchy subject right now. But yeah, as far as where you should fly your models, use your common sense. If you're going to be able to damage property or persons with it, I would not fly it there. But yes. Does that sound good? The best place to fly your 64 or 70 or 90 millimeter F-22 would be at your local AMA model club. Any others? Nope. Well, all right, guys. If everybody is happy with today and liking the new airplanes, go hit that pre-order button. I'm sure these are going to sell out pretty quick. These are pretty awesome airplanes at a good or reasonable price point. One more question. Okay, snuck it in.
Can you get a close-up shot of the retracts and how they are fit into the mounting plate?
I can try to get a close-up shot of the retracts. Oop, almost dropped the glider on the ground. Let me plug it in and put the gear back out, and we can try and get as close as we can there. You may actually have to zoom in on the front camera just so I can get a real close shot of this. Well, let me plug her back in real quick. Let's see if we can get Lori zoomed in here. A zoomage. Trying to figure out how to tilt that in a way you can see it. And the lighting's a little weird right here. I need to probably actually bring it up here under the light. All right, try it now. There you go. Now there is, the only problem right now with me trying to show you that is there is a cover right here covering the retract. I might be able to pop it off real quick though, because it only screws on. Let me set this down as carefully as I can. We'll pop it open real quick. Hey, close the gear real quick, Lauren. We'll pop her open. I should use a flight stand. Everybody don't get mad. I damaged my plane so you don't have to. There we go. Now you can really see it. All right. There you go. So there is that little cover, and it's just screwed on with 2 screws to get to the actual retract plate. All right. And gear back out, and we'll try and look at the front now. Figure out how to hold it. I'm going to give you as detailed a shot as I can of that. There you go. Hopefully that helped you out there.
Another question on that. Are they foam, remember?
I've already answered that, but yes, these are foam. They have a little bit of give to them. They're not like soft rubber or anything. And these are full suspension. Zoom back in so I can show them that. Come on back in. Now we can get a real good look at that. So you've got this metal scissor link right here. And you can see those actually spring in and out. There you go. All right. I'll put the cover back on in a minute. Won't worry about that right now. All right. Go give it one more quick look over and make sure we didn't miss anything else.
Is there going to be an ARF model?
Yeah, let's see that. I have not confirmed if there is an ARF model coming to the U.S. as of yet. I believe there will be one in the future. I don't know if it's making it in the first shipment, though. I guess a couple guys commented that the airplane sounded weird. I ran it here on the table today, and I mean, it sounds pretty balanced to me. I'm blowing stuff off the walls. But yeah, Lori's like, air. Sounds fine to me. Now, I will say, I do run a pretty loose throttle stick. This is something I've always done. Like, I can literally pick mine up and it'll fall down. So my minor adjustments, you're probably hearing that in the video where it's like, that's me, you know, moving it. But if I do it real carefully, I've heard this a few times. I want y'all to hear it now. There's barely on. I mean, it has a very nice throttle curve. Lori's blowing away over there. There's stuff flying off the walls. But anyway, sounds fine here in person, so maybe it was just something the way the video sounded, but has a lot of power too. All right. Anything else? I'm gonna put my throttle cut back on so it don't fall off the table. But yeah, my transmitter stick actually won't stay if I leave it. You know, it'll move. I run it really loose. All right. Well, guys, if y'all are all happy and know all your questions are answered, it was my pleasure to do this for you today. As always, with any of our new releases, try and get on here and talk to y'all as much as I can. As always, I will be available over on Facebook during the Motion RC customer community. You can always ask me questions there also. I try and answer everybody I can. Of course, If you're asking me what the next plane's going to be, I can't answer that kind of stuff. But if you just need general knowledge on these new products, let me know. I can snap a picture of them usually and get that up to you pretty quick. I try and keep up with everybody that I can. But yeah, and we are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. I figured I'll mention that again. So we're going to have some fun stuff kind of going around that. If you're new to Motion RC and enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do RC content like this every single day here on the Motion RC YouTube channel. And I think it's a lot of fun. We got the best community in the world behind us, as you can see down in that comment section if you're new here. And we're always having a blast. So, all right, guys. Well, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. Like I said, that's motionrc.com if you're looking for these airplanes. And until next time, I'm going to let y'all go. So have a beautiful day, guys, and enjoy it. Get out there and fly some airplanes. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.